What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Make sure the audio's working right. It seems like it's working right, but I just want to make sure it's on the correct audio. Um, my computers and all that, everything was off for the longest time. I just came back from California last night, and things were fun. Just to give you an update, I wanted to um, not live stream, but I wanted to make some videos over that time period, but it was just so difficult with how long we were out because we went to Disneyland and California Adventure and just had fun with the family. So I felt like, you know what, it makes sense for me to not do any type of videos. Now, it did suck because anytime I choose to do that, the market seems to make major moves. Seeing Ethereum make moves, seeing Bitcoin make moves, seeing many other things hit, higher levels, and the overall market cap looking absolutely amazing happened. So I was viewing all that. I was watching it. I was making investments as well. I have a couple of things that have been making some decent moves. I want to talk about those things, but I also really want to go into kind of or get into what's going on in the news today. Because honestly, and what's going on in the news in the past week or so, because I haven't been caught up. So let's get caught up together. If there's anything new that has happened, that has transpired, please feel free to let me know if something is big. Um, and we can always, talk about that a little bit more. But make sure the audio is okay. And again, it looks like it's okay based on the I don't know what to call that. Based on the output here and what it's showing me. But I can't hear it, and I also am seeing a default device. Is it a little bit echoey or something? I don't think this is it, cause this over here is not really working well. You know what? Let me test audio. It may be a little bit weird. Testing. That sounds like it's okay. Like I can hear it. I can hear everything, and you brought blah, blah, blah. You guys probably hear like a double like or echo behind it because I'm trying to just see if the audio is okay, and it seems okay. All right, so make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, answer the poll in the chat. If you guys are interested in checking out BTCC, which is a great platform that I've been able to utilize for about a year now, and it's been great. I've been making profits left and right. I did take, which I'm maybe a little bit upset about, I did take profit on some Ethereum, but an Ethereum uh, leverage trade. I had a leverage trade out for Ethereum, and I felt as though, yeah, I would be able to gain a little bit more as we see that go forward. But I wanted to take that leverage trade and, going about my day. Obviously, I could have seen even more. I could have seen a lot more growth throughout time, but I was able to gain about $1,000 from that leverage trade. I put in, I think it was $100 or so, and it was $1,000 gain. Um, looking at about what a 9,000% gain. Like we're looking at a decent gain from what I had there. So we'll talk about that as well as we get into it a little bit more. Oh, and look what I created. When I was in California. I don't know if you guys know what this is, but it's a lightsaber. I was excited to do this. I wish I could have done this with Harper, but I feel as though there are better actions to lightsabers. But this is cool. I just like the weight of this. I created it in Savvy's workshop, and it's just I like it. I'm gonna hang it on the wall over there, like right behind me, somewhere like on this pole or something. I'm gonna hang it right there and just turn it on now and again. But yeah, I was excited to make this. It's so heavy here. It's cool. I like it. But yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these live streams, these videos. But I'm not saying this, all the things that I say in like titles and thumbnails because I don't believe them. I truly do believe them. I truly do believe that, I'm going to be able to make millions. Like, and I've already made, a lot of money. I'll say that, right? I've already made a lot of money from cryptocurrency, whether it's, leverage trading or just buying outright. I've been able to make a ton. So I'm happy with the investments that I've made, but I know there are people coming onto the scene right now that are just getting into crypto. And what I've told some people, like I was playing golf with some people, and if you guys are watching, thank you for watching. I know it was like a week ago that I, told you about my channel and everything. But I forget their names. I know Grant because I was golfing with him. I think I was in his, no, I wasn't in his cart. We had all separate carts, but all of them were cool people. I ended up golfing at Trump National Golf Course, which honestly was very beautiful. I don't care what you think politically or whatever, whether you're on one side or the other. The golf course was beautiful and it was tough. Um, I mean, that was the worst, honestly, the worst golf I've played in a very long, long time. And that's because if you know golf, if you have a little bit of grace, like you have trees and everything, you hit the tree, it drops down. Not this course. You go into a bush and it's gone. Like it's and there's coarse bushes. It's just gone. It can go off the side of a cliff. It's so funny. Um, I lost 19 balls or something. Like it wasn't a good round at all. Like if you miss the fairway by a little bit, it can be completely gone or the green. Anyways, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It was a fun week. Just being able to spend time with the kids, being able to play golf, being able to kind of get away from everything and just see the kids, have fun on different rides and stuff. So, uh, what's going on with everybody else? How's everybody else doing? Has anybody made any crazy investments? Anybody made any money lately? Have you made any leverage trading investments and decent leverage trades to where you made some decent money, whether it's unrealized or realized? Let me know in the comment section. But let me go through the and say good morning to everybody. Go through the chat. Good morning, Pastor Mac. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Nick Brown, good morning to you as well. Peter, good morning. The Zenden, good morning to you. Also, thoughts on Filecoin and Chainlink. So I like both of them. I don't have either of them, but I do like them. Right? There are plays that are out there that have utility, that have more of a. I would consider them a blue chip crypto in a way. And those are two of them, right? Where you have the ability to have utility. Don't you dare jump up here, cat. Don't you dare jump up here. You have the ability to see the utility in them and see the growth and see the longevity in them. And I feel like those are ones, right? We've seen some movement recently, as far as I remember, when I was looking at the crypto market. We saw, things like Chainlink that actually were moving quite a bit. But we'll have to go into a little bit more detail to kind of break those things down and see where I see those things going. I know there are some people that are all about Filecoin or all about Chainlink, but I've seen some positive things. I've seen negative things about everything, right? So, but if you have a quote unquote blue chip crypto, you could see some major movement within them over time, right? And honestly, in one of these videos, I think in a video today, I want to do a stocks versus crypto because I have a couple of stocks that I've invested into for about 500 days. And I have another one that I've invested consistently for 500 days. And I wanted to see how that played out, how they differ, and how much, you're able to make the percentage difference between the two. And I think it will be a great comparison. I just hope it gets a decent amount of views to see that comparison and see other people put their input in it. But we'll see how that goes. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Good morning. Good morning, Matt. What price do you think Jasmycoin will hit? Like today, next month, next year? I think in general, I think we'll see a level of between $1 and $1.50. It may, struggle in between there because obviously you're looking at a $50 billion market cap up to a $75 billion market cap. But I feel like with what Jasmycoin has going for it, we should see multiple tens of billions of dollars. Now, it really all depends on what people do, because there are two types of people that are investing into cryptocurrencies in general, right? They're investing into it for the gain specifically, like, hey, I just want it to grow to $1 so I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, right? Or thousands of dollars, right? And then there's also those people that are investing into it for the long-standing growth, right? The long term, in what Jasmycoin is going to do, what it's going to be, what, who's going to use it, all of those things, right? Now, if you kind of marry the two and say, I want gains, but I also want to be a part of it for the long term, that's the way that we're going to see the most success and the most growth for Jasmycoin. So it depends what type of people we have at certain levels, right? If we're sitting at 50 cents and we have majority of the people that are like, look, cutting what I have there, I have a million of Jasmycoin, meaning that I have $500,000. They're gonna take it. That's fine, right? That's their decision to do that. But if there is a larger majority that's going to do that, now you have more pullbacks and less long-term growth, right? So it really all depends. But honestly, that's why I have exit plans set, because even though I have a price target of $1, right, it doesn't mean that all of my Jasmycoin is going to be sold at $1. It means that I have an exit plan from 10 cents to 20 cents to 30 cents to 50 cents to 75 to $1, right? And sell at certain points. I'm not going to take my full million, sell it at 50 cents and have $500,000. That would be great to do, but it's also putting a lot of it in risk depending on what people are going to do at 25 cents or at 30 cents, right? So I want to see the consistent growth and push that narrative out there that it's okay to kind of take bits and pieces of, but then also have a forever balance, right? I have 100,000 as my forever balance, and if it does find a way to surpass even way higher numbers of $1, $2, $3, $17, and what people predict, I can gain so much more on the money that on the cryptocurrency that I have sitting for the long term, and that's only if we see that long term. However, I'm still pushing for that short-term moves, the short-term moves as well. So I haven't watched a video for a while. I've been caught up with life, but my portfolio is looking like I'm ready for retirement. That's great to hear, Paul. That is fantastic to hear. Look, you don't have to watch videos consistently, my videos consistently. I appreciate you just being here. If it's one time out of the year, I appreciate you being here in that capacity. It does mean a lot to me, but then it also means a lot to me that you are making decent money in it, right? That you're consistently maybe even investing into crypto or investing in at the low points and seeing that growth over time. That's fantastic. I love to see it. I don't know what you're all invested into, if you have a ton of XRP or if you have a ton of Ethereum or if you have, it's across the board, right? Because I've talked about many different things. I'm making money from many different cryptos. Obviously, XRP is the highest dollar value. Terraluna Classic is the highest percentage value, but then there's a mix of a lot of other things in between. Do you think CRO will ever reach $1? Please. I do think it will reach $1. That's why I'm still holding CRO at 16 cents, right? 15, 16 cents. It's great to see the growth that we've seen recently over this last week that I've been kind of out of commission, I would say. It's great to see that growth. But yeah, it's not done yet. I think there's so much more left on the table for CRO. And I'm just happy to see gains in my in any position that I hold, but also the ones that I'm buying consistently in, because I bought for 500 plus days for not XRP, for CRO. I bought $10 for 500 plus days, and to see that majorly positive is great, right? you start to look at it and you compare it to other things, the other consistent movers that you have. And now, CRO is looking fantastic. And hopefully it continues on this trend. Morning. Have you watched the show Stick on Apple TV? Yes, I'm not or actually I am finished with it. I think I finished the it seems like it wasn't finished because I think it was a kind of an open-ended ending. But it does, yeah, it is a really, really good show. Yeah, I've watched it. I try to watch it as like Erica's not interested in that, so I try to, I try to watch these things while she's not around, or if I have free time or something like that, which is not often, but I try to do that, especially during the summer where I'm trying to make sure Harper's ready for basketball. We're doing basketball practice pretty much every day. We haven't done basketball practice in like 2 weeks at this point. So I'm excited to actually do that today. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Um, but yeah, excited for that because we've spent a lot of time again at in California, which yesterday was horrid with the fact that you're traveling all day, right? I leave at 8 in the morning, and by the time I get back and land, it's again because time difference. It's 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then they had trouble with our bags. So with everybody's bags on the plane because there was thunder on like that was or lightning that was happening, so they had to stop, and then it was like an extra hour, so it was like 6 ish, 6:20 ish before we left, and that's from Philly, which we live like an hour from Philly, so we have to travel back home, and we ended up eating and getting our dog, getting Emmy. And it was just a long day of traveling. By the time we got back, it was like 9 o'clock. So from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock, entire day of traveling. Uh, it was a lot, but I can't wait to play basketball with her. Tons of unrealized gains from XLM and XRP, but that's about it. Okay. Well, it's good that you're gaining a decent amount and you have those unrealized gains. I don't know, obviously to how much like the amount that you're gaining, percentage wise that you're gaining. But it's great to see that you're gaining and you're holding on to it and you believe in it for the long term. Because again, I'm still holding my entire portfolio of XRP. This tells you a lot. Some people have said Matt's not holding XRP anymore. I am holding a lot of XRP, all of my XRP actually, and I still have my 10,000 XRP that's sitting in um, my Ledger wallet and whatnot. So um, yeah, it's a lot of unrealized gains, and when you look at it, you're like, what am I doing? Why am I just holding this for um, the long term when I've gained so much out of it? You never have a position where you gain that much from it. Um, where you gain, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars or potentially even millions of dollars from these plays. How can you justify holding that when the traditional route is to take some of that money or take all that money and throw it to an ETF or something that's going to move consistently? Well, who's to say that this isn't going to move consistently over time? Right? That's where you kind of take that risk in a market. I was talking to like I was saying earlier. I kind of jump places. I was talking to you know the my golf playing partners at Trump National. I'll just say that I was talking to them about cryptocurrency because I did mention the fact that I had a channel, and they asked me if I invested in the cryptocurrency, and I said, yeah, that's primarily what I talk about here. Um, and when we were talking about it, I was saying that, cryptocurrency, how I look at it, I look at it in comparison to the internet of, back in the day. When back in the day they would say, oh, the internet's a fad and you're not going to be able to do this. And they had all these businesses that were being created, and they're like, they're not going to be around because the internet's not going to be around. However, those businesses came on to be, billion-dollar, even trillion-dollar businesses, right? They're worth so much more. The technology, um, companies that are out there, technology sector, it's it's still on the rise to this day, and we see newer technology, the Internet of Things sector, where people wouldn't even have thought that a refrigerator would need Wi-Fi, would need a connection to the internet, right? Uh, but it does, right? And it helps as I go through my Samsung refrigerator that has a screen on it, and you can, either play music, or you can, create, shopping lists, and upload pictures and stuff instead of putting stuff on your, you have all of these things that you have the ability to do. You wouldn't think that you would need it, right? Or you don't technically need it. You wouldn't think that you would use it, right? But it is something that you can use, and I've used quite frequently, actually. Um, so when you look at that, you're trying to invest into a sector that many people don't believe in, but it is still a sector that's rising. It's a sector that's showing interest, and people are showing interest in it, and you're seeing the value, you're seeing the growth. That's the market that I want to invest into. And good thing, for them, they told me that they were invested into, cryptocurrency. They had like one Bitcoin, and they invested at like 60 or 70,000, and it jumped to obviously 118, 119,000, which is phenomenal in what they can get. But obviously that's to the lowest extent in what you can invest into for cryptocurrency. A high dollar figure, but there's so much more potential that's on the table, that's on the board for cryptocurrency. And even though people are entering now, and they may seem like, oh, it's at a $4.2 trillion market cap. Um, if it drops down to a $4 trillion market cap, I lost a lot of money. Yeah, while that is true, you're believing in the sector and believing in the consistent growth over time, rather than just believing in, oh, I've made 100% of my money right now, or 60% of my money in the last week. It's not something that you're trying to just push for the short-term gains. If you gain it, fantastic. But it's more or less trying to be a part of this sector that could be as big as all of these technology companies that we've seen in the past, and the current growth within them. So that's how I look at it, right? I'm investing into things that, or a sector that people don't believe in, but you also have people that do believe in it. But you also have consistent growth, and you see the technology, you see the utility. I'm investing into that. And that's what I think cryptocurrency is. And while it's still being questioned, it's still worth investing into. It will always be worth investing into. It's just, you're going to see, when everybody talks about how cryptocurrency is a big part of the economy, that's when you'll see the consistent growth. And that's when you'll see, 5 to 10% growth over the year, instead of seeing 100, 200, 300, 1,000, 10,000, whatever, right? 90,000% gain in certain positions, because people are now starting to realize this technology can go far. This technology can go far. This technology can go far. That's what I'm looking for. That's why cryptocurrency is making me millions, and is going to make me more millions as we move along, right? That's just how that's going to go. That's how I look at it, again. And you don't have to look at it that way, but that's why I invested into crypto at a level of $3 trillion, at a level of $2 trillion, at a level of $1 trillion, at a level of $800 billion, at a level of then going back the other way, going back up to 1.5 to 1.9, and hovering around 1.9 for a while, getting to $2 trillion, $3 trillion, right? You're investing in at all points because you believe in the future of crypto. And, $3 trillion, $4 trillion is going to be nothing in comparison to what it's worth 5, 10 years from now. That's the way that I look at it. I just want to let you know that. But, and that's only if you're willing to do that research into the sector. There are many people that won't do that research, that will only know what Bitcoin is because they hear about it on, whatever other, business news channel, or paper or whatever. You heard it on Bloomberg. Bitcoin's this, Bitcoin that, Ethereum this, Ethereum that. Well, what about XRP? What about ADA? What about AVAX? What about Chainlink? Like, there's so much opportunity in many positions that you could decide to buy into for cryptocurrency. Um, but that's totally up to you and what you want to research. I've made some swing trades on one of my faves, Jasmycoin. Crazy 5 cent swings. Point 5 cent or 5 cent swings. I can't wait to see some growth. I've made some moves. Let me actually go into the crypto market. I know you guys have. I'll go into the chat a little bit more. But thank you guys for being here. We got 96 people that are viewing right now. If you guys could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, if you guys want to check out my link for BTCC down below, you can. You can get a 10% deposit bonus when you specifically use my link. Extra bonuses up to $10,055, 40% lower trading fees, and you can get, you know, you can trade up to 500x leverage. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. You can get up to 500x leverage if you wanted to trade that. Now, you don't have to trade that. I don't honestly recommend that you trade that. I recommend that you go for a 2x to 10x leverage. Now, that's 10x leverage is still high, and you also need to understand how to read charts and how to invest, more consistently. But a 2x leverage, you can actually look at and go, all right, I'm investing $1,000 in this play that I believe is going to be worth so much more. Do I believe it's going to drop by 50%? If it drops by 50%, I lose my entire investment. However, as it grows, I gain the money on, $2,000 invested rather than $1,000 invested. Hopefully that makes sense. But some trades that I made, let me actually go in here before I decide to do that. Some trades that I currently have out here. I have one for Terraluna Classic that's currently up $10. I have one for ADA that's up $775. I put $1,000 in there at a 3x leverage. It's currently sitting at 95 cents. Auction is down by 100. Compound is down by $28. Caspa is up by $237. AVAX is up by $435. And then Jasmycoin is up by $253. I do have some trade history. I did make a trade recently for Ethereum. Again, I held a 10x leverage in that. And maybe I should have held it a little bit longer because I would have made a little bit more money. My closing price was $4,310. I invested at, I believe it was like 2,000. It's not showing me that detail, at least as far as I can see right now. But I made $1,028 on my investment, which was, and it doesn't even show me that right now. I believe it was like $100, but I made $1,028 on that investment, which again was absolutely fantastic. As I look at it, it is a 477% gain on my investment. I'll take that any day of the week, which again was $1,028.59. Again, those are investments that I make as I see the markets, make certain moves based on the chart. If you guys want to learn how to trade or talk about that, feel free to reach out to me on Patreon. We can always talk about leverage trading and how you can, make money, giving yourself, a little bit of risk, but not too much risk to where you're risking everything that you possibly could put in there. I know a lot of people will tell you need to invest with $25,000 and do this, and you don't need that, right? You can start with $100 and then consistently invest into good plays as the market pulls back, especially the crypto market, because the crypto market is easily predictable. When you see a massive drop, you know that it's going to, increase from there. So you can do a 3x leverage and know that it's not going to drop another 30% with just $20. And then you could see it, skyrocket as the market ends up increasing over time. Or it could happen just in that day. So you can do something more aggressive and do a 500x leverage for $5 and see the growth within that as long as you pick the right time frame. However, I want to be clear, you have to select and put in a stop loss. In everything that I have here, I have a stop loss in every single play. So again, if you guys want to check it out and start trading today, feel free to check out BTCC. In the chat, I have a link for it in the chat. It does help out the channel and all of that. So anyways, let's look at where the crypto market is right now. So the current crypto market, let's refresh this. Current crypto market sits at a $4.04 trillion market cap. It is down by 2.4%. I know we've seen some negative movement. I think it was yesterday we saw some heavy negative movement because we saw some positive movement more recently. But Bitcoin's dominance is down to 58.7%. Ethereum dominance is up to 13.9%. So it's making some moves in the range of a $500 to $600 billion market cap. Absolutely phenomenal to see. I'm excited for that, and I'm so happy to see that altcoins are starting to kind of make these moves. But it still primarily is just really Bitcoin and Ethereum market cap wise that's making these massive moves. Percentage wise, you could see that elsewhere with many other positions, but Ethereum in the last 7 days is up by 19%. While Bitcoin is up by 2% in the last 7 days. XRP down by 6% in the last 7 days, or 3.5% in the last 24 hours, currently sitting at $3.11. I'm not worried about that. We're sitting at a $184 billion market cap. BNB is at $117 billion at an $845 price. Solana almost at the $200 point. I believe it was at the $200 point, but it's down by 4% today and was down yesterday as well. But it's at a $105 billion market cap. Dogecoin, 23 cents or $34 billion market cap. Do you see how far the drop off is from really Dogecoin to Solana? $105 billion down to 34 or $35 billion market cap there. That's a huge drop off. That gap definitely needs to be filled by something, whether it's something that's already here or something new. Cardano, I would predict, is going to make some of these moves to kind of fill that gap and be included in the 80 to $100 billion market cap. It should be worth more than that even, but I'm still looking for just that movement first, right? Kind of not baby steps, but you got to walk before you run type stuff. Tron is up by, down by 2.3% at a $34 billion market cap. Chainlink is at a $22.32 price, down by 5%, 15% up for the last 7 days. So yeah, we did see some major movement in Chainlink for the person that mentioned Chainlink there. Stellar is slightly down by about 4%. In the last 7 days, down by 7.4% at a $13 billion market cap. AVAX, we've seen some decent movement, and I want to see a lot more with that because I'm, invested into that pretty, not heavily, but not crazy heavily, but definitely have a sizable investment there. Same thing goes for Litecoin, sitting at $121. That needs to see some major movement. At a $9 billion market cap, it has so much more room for growth and will grow that high. Shiba Inu is sitting at 22 by market cap, or $7.6 billion. Kronos saw 2% in the last 7 days, 5.5% down in the last 24 hours. Is at a 15.5 cent price. Let's look at some bigger positive movers, right? You have Arrow that's up by 7%, Pendle that's up by 3%, Hype that's up by 3%. So not much crazy movement in the top 100. I do want to filter maybe to the top 500 to see what is flourishing there out of that. You have MYX Finance. It's up by 27%, but that also only has about 15% of the supply that's out there. Something that I don't like to see. You have, or was it Ryu? Let's say that. That's up by 29%. Looking at all the supply that is out there, but also only looking at $1 million worth of volume on a $120 million market cap. So while we are seeing that growth, I guess majority of that money is going into, buys. It just doesn't look It doesn't look great, even though you're seeing that growth. $1 million in volume is nothing compared to a $120 million market cap. Now, if it was a $700,000 market cap and you saw a 1.2 million, like that's obviously good, but no, it's not looking the best. You have X and Y that's up by 43% or 564% in the last 7 days, sitting with $55 million worth of volume, majority of the supply that's out there, market cap sitting at $159 million. That's something that honestly does look pretty interesting based on the numbers that we just, saw there. A 43% increase for the last 7 days. It's at a 2 cent price. 8 billion coins in supply in total. I don't know what it is and why we're seeing that hype. Maybe it was just introduced on like Binance or Kraken. It has 33 different places to where you can buy it. That's typically what I look for. Whenever I go and look for like maybe a gem or something, I'll go to the broader market. I'll look up the top 500 and I'll kind of sort it by volume because I want to see that higher volume. Yes, you're going to see a lot of the top plays that are up there, but once you scroll down and you look at some other plays, right? Maybe you're looking at Athena, which Athena's not bad, but I would just scroll down and continue to look at things that are kind of a lower market cap, right? Where you see a lot of volume, and I would generally want to look in the maybe hundreds of millions. So whether I'm scrolling from like the $300 million level and look for a play that's a lowish market cap. Let's see. No. What is this? ETHFI. Doesn't look like the supply. You're looking at about 42% of the supply. So I want to see something that's all of the supply is out there when I am looking at those things. But basically that's what I'll look for, right? I want a perfect setup to tell me that this has long-standing growth potential. High volume, lowish market cap, seeing 50% volume to market cap ratio, if not more than that, or even a little bit lower, but then seeing all the supply that's out there. So that's something that I will look at. And a lot of times you're going to see it, you're going to find it, especially in high volume days, you'll find something. But I haven't really found much because even this right here, low circulating supply. Anyways, that's something that I do if you guys want to, check that out and, maybe create a strategy for yourself. But make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It does help out with the channel, helps out with growth. Again, if you want to check out my link for BTCC, that is in the chat as well. I made some swing trades around 4 years ago. I invested in Luna. I don't have the funds to invest in other coins. I think it's safe to say we have been nothing but exit liquidity. I don't think that's true. I think Terraluna Classic has a lot left on the table. But what people like to do is assume that communities are dead and that positions are dead just based on the fact that they haven't moved much. I still see a lot of growth in Terraluna Classic. This is why I still hold Terraluna Classic. I've been able to make money from it, and I can make money today because I invested in at the bottom, like literally the bottom of Terraluna Classic. I didn't buy any more at all, and I was able to have tens of millions of that position. I think I was trying to show my screen, and I don't think I showed my screen the entire time. But I do appreciate you guys for being here, and maybe just listening to it helped out. Hopefully I did. I think I did show my screen. Let me go back here. Yeah, I was showing it. All right, perfect. Sometimes I get, on a roll and I just, don't know what's going on with the changing of screens and close-ups and all that other type of stuff. But I do appreciate all you guys for being here. But I think Terraluna Classic definitely has a lot more potential than people think. But again, that's just my opinion. You don't have to, see what I see. And I don't think we were exit liquidity. I think you're exit liquidity to a certain extent, short term, but um, a little bit longer term. Yeah, I think a lot of the people that invested low, invested now, invested at, because these levels where we're currently at are not necessarily the highest levels at all. You're still sitting at a $323 million market cap, $17 million worth of volume. We will see that FOMO and growth and movement within it because it is a popular position. Whether it looks like it's popular or not, I'm telling you it is. That's just, again, my opinion. You know, obviously I'm invested into many other things, so I don't need to see Terraluna Classic make huge moves right now, but I believe that it will. What about Pongo and Manu? I don't know. I don't have those positions or haven't looked into those in maybe a while. If I have talked about them before, I tend to jump from place to place. So yeah, when we see the price of 25 cents for Jasmycoin, I would hope in 2026. I would think the end of 2025 would be kind of that push into altcoin season, which it seems like is what we are seeing. But then we'll start to see that trickle down effect into all altcoins, and we won't see the crazy rise of Bitcoin like we've been seeing off and on. So I think in 2026, I think 2025 could be 10. I want to see 10 to 20 cents. But it's not a guarantee that we will see that. That's my prediction and what I believe we're going to see. But predictions can definitely be have their ups and downs. Let's just say that. Japanese Bitcoin, yep. What would be a better short-term play, Jasmy or Toshi? I think Jasmy, in my opinion. You said short-term play? I don't know. I would think I like Jasmy as a long-term play, so I guess you would say Toshi, but I haven't looked into that to see what the short-term outcome is on that. And I guess maybe that was a setup because you know that Jasmy is more of a long-term play because it's something that has utility, but Toshi doesn't, or maybe does. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Sup, Unk? I don't know. I don't know if I'm at Unk status. I know I'm an uncle right now, but I'm not at Unk status at the moment. Like we go to the cookout, I'm not really. Maybe I am. I don't know. We'll see. I'm maybe I am. I looked at the family reunion that we have. Maybe I am at Unk status. Um, good morning, Nemo Blades. Thank you for watching. When will you see the end of the bull cycle range? I mean, some will say in 2026 that it won't last a crazy amount. What are these cats doing? Oh, they're just using the scratch thing. Um, but yeah, some would say before the end of 2026. That's what some would say. But I would like to see it go through 2026 into 2027, maybe around the um, January timeframe, or around the time frame that we typically see. Um, the May timeframe, and that's what we saw last time, where it was around May and things dropped. Honestly, that was triggered by what we saw with Terraluna Classic and the FTX and all that stuff. But yeah, that's what I would say. What's everyone's Jasmine top prediction? I know there's some people that say Jasmine is going to $17, which would be amazing, but are you still invested in Grok? If so, can you do another video? Yeah, I'm still invested in Grok. I still have um, my coins over in my wallet over here. Oh, you know what? They made an update to MetaMask. That's cool. But yeah, it's still in my wallet. Yeah. And it's currently at 1,900, which I'm down a significant amount on, what I invested. Does it give me a breakdown of how much I'm down from where I invested? That would be fantastic. It doesn't. Not on MetaMask yet. But it does show me how much I'm down over the day, which is $354. But yes, I still hold Grok. Hey Matt, are you into mining? Not much. I mean, I want to mine, but I also um, am not a fan of energy consumption. That comes with mining and certain mining, right? Some that might not have as much, but still, um, not a big fan of that. But I also like making what you would say is free money, but you're also paying within, you know, your electric bill for that rig, whatever rig you have set up. So, yeah. Where you been, Matt? I've been on vacation. I was in California for 7 days, and that's first time on the West Coast. First time in California. First time on the West Coast there. And I would like to go more, but I also don't like how long it takes to get there. I don't like the fact that it's a lot of traveling. Like the entire day is shot, and then the time difference is not crazy. Like it's not like people will say, "Oh, I get messed up by the time difference there." The time difference is not crazy. Like it's 3 hours. It's not that bad. Yes, it can mess things up a little bit, and while it's still light um, on the West Coast, it's dark over here. um, but yeah, I would like to maybe go more often and see different parts of you know that side of the country rather than just the East Coast. If you look at my map of golf courses that I travel to, obviously all of them are on the East Coast. Um, and whether it's up to um, said New York higher than us, New York to Florida, like that's kind of like the entire range of where I've been. I've never been to the middle of the country. Um, have I? Yeah, I've never never been to the middle of the country. Never been to the West Coast, and this is the first time there. And it was great to be able to play a golf course at least on the West Coast. And I'm gonna make that a trend as we go to different states and stuff. But yeah, by the look of the wolf, Matt's been in the trenches. I don't know what that means. Like, are you saying like my beard? And when I did the most, 0.005 to the $2.40. That's kind of why I like to be invested into a lot of things. Yes, I don't ever see that level of growth, especially in a short period of time. But that's why I like to be invested into so many different things. Right? I don't know exactly how many cryptocurrencies I'm invested into, but I know it's over 100. Now, heavily invested into plays, it's probably somewhere around the 30 cryptocurrency range. Um, but I like to invest into many different plays because you never know what they're going to truly be and who's going to invest into it and what they're going to decide to do and the changes that they're going to make. It could be for the positive, for the better. It could be for the worse. Pepe current position in the crypto space, the current position of the markets. Ray will melt face. Okay. You've been a true inspiration, bro. Thank you for doing what you do. Well, thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me. You know, I sometimes feel like, you get on here and you talk about, I talk about my investments. I talk about what I'm doing. And I feel like that can be beneficial because of, the way that I, take in information. When I watch somebody do something, I learn more from what they are doing rather than them trying to teach me to do something. You know what I mean? So if somebody makes a mistake, I learn from that mistake and say, I don't want that to happen. This is the way that I'm going to prevent that. Right? I actually break things down a little bit more than if somebody's like, here are 5 ways that you can prevent this thing to happen. And I'm like, that's not necessary. It's teaching me something, but it's not doing it in my own way. I'm learning your way of avoiding that. While that may have some sort of benefits, it may be beneficial, it's just not going to help me out in the long run because if I'm creating the strategy, if I'm looking at it and saying this is what I need to do, I put more stock into that. I put more weight into it. I've done that my entire life. Where if my brother made a mistake, if any of my brothers made a mistake, I would learn from that and say, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go that route. Right? Um, this it's just how I've, lived my life. And I feel like it's been successful because I see somebody fail and I'm like, I don't want to fail. I see myself fail. I'm like, I will not do that again. So, um, yeah, that's what I try and do when I get on here. But sometimes it feels like I'm talking about myself like way too much. And some people are like, yeah, can you stop telling me about your position that you hold and what you're doing with yours? Can you tell me about what's going on in the news? And while we do have what's going on in the news and we want to hear all about that, I feel like people learn from example or learn by, you know, what I'm doing or what other people are doing. And there are some that do that, maybe some that don't. But I do appreciate you saying that. A couple years for XRP, Matt. A couple more years for XRP. I think there's going to be, I'm going to have it for years and years to come. It's not just going to be just a couple years. It's going to be a lot more than that. For me, at least. Some other people, they might see it at a level of, yes, bro, the beard. Uh, the beard is okay. I got it shaped up before I left. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've just been growing whatever it is in. Um, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Can't remember. Do you offer classes to people for full time trades? So we gotta, wait, so we don't gotta work a damn job. I'm tired of truck driving. So I don't offer a class. Um, but what I would say is that you slowly educate yourself in what's a good strategy for you. Because everybody's different. I don't have a class on how to be the best trader in the world because, again, everyone is different. And many people will say if you follow this full, like if you have a day trader out there or whether it's the stock market or crypto market or whatever, they will tell you that if you follow this plan, you will be successful. I think there are certain things that you can follow that will make you more successful than others. And that's mainly just a mindset thing, right? It's not necessarily just like, if you follow this strategy, this works every single time. You need to build your strategy that works for you at the moment. But once the market changes, your strategy changes. And then you test out a new strategy and you move from there, right? Those are the type of things that you kind of need to do, but it's based on what you see and what you do. Does that make sense? Hopefully, where if I'm investing and I'm looking at I have typical like W formations, and that's what I'm looking at heavily. It may not work out in the next market, the next phase of the market, to just look for double bottoms. You might be looking for, head and shoulders pattern. You might be looking for a short position versus, a long position. Um, but the one thing that I'll say that you have to have is you have to be disciplined. in whatever your strategy is, you have to be disciplined. And if it doesn't work out that way, then redefine your strategy, right? Go into BTCC, right? Go into this platform. If you're doing leverage trading and you want to be able to make hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, go into BTCC and, go to demo trading. Go over here to demo trading and then start trading without utilizing your own money. You're going to see here that I have a trade in for Ethereum, a 3x leverage. Opening price is 1,500, currently at 4,600. I put $1,000 there. I could have been up $6,000 if I decided to do that. A simple leverage trade that is just a 3x leverage for $1,000. While you're risking a lot, you're also getting $3,000 to invest with, and that's growing $6,000 or 600% if I decided to sell that here today in this demo trading portfolio. So with this demo trading platform, you can test out your strategy and make it work for you. Now, the issue with that is that if you find a play to where you actually make a boatload of money, say you invest $1,000 because you had $1,000, I would say invest what you are willing to put in. Don't take the whole $100,000 and go, well, what if I did this? Then you're going to kind of take out a second mortgage on your house and do the same thing, and then you're going to end up losing all of it. No. What I want you to do is, if you have only $100 to invest with, then start investing with $100 on your demo trading platform and find the best strategy that works for you. And then when you feel like you found that, now you can, move that to live trading. But again, the issue is that if you make so much money from that one trade, now you're going to say, this is my strategy, I'm the best trader ever, when in reality, it was just a lucky move. Or it was something that you're like, I could have made a ton from, and if I decided to take that money and make that investment, now you invest emotionally and you get aggressive. So there's a lot that goes into actively trading, short-term investing, long-term investing, leverage trading. There's a lot that goes into it, but ultimately it's about being disciplined and, building your strategy, and off of that strategy, being disciplined to that strategy, right? If you're down and you lost your entire investment of $20, then live to fight another day and, sell what you have there. I've always gone with that, where I want to live to fight another day. I don't care if the play is still there, right? The play is still there. I'm down $20 or I'm down my initial investment. I take that loss and then I look for the next setup, right? That setup is gone. I don't care if the play is still there. I don't care if it runs and makes a huge move afterwards. I lost my money. I'm moving on to the next setup. That's how I live my life of trading, and I want to be disciplined. That's why every position that I hold on this platform, if I go back to live trading, that's why every position that I hold on this platform has a stop loss. Because if it hits that stop loss, I'm done, right? I'm not gonna go, oh, well, you know what? I'm just gonna wait it out. No, I'm not gonna wait it out. That's my stop loss. That's what I'm willing to lose, and I'm gonna live to fight another day. I've grown this account from $500 to a balance here of $4,620. Now, I could be more aggressive and make more money and make more investments, but I decided to not do that. I decided to be more like somewhat conservative, where I have 3x leverage, 2x leverage. I do have some 10x leverages here, but I'm up a significant amount. And I've already taken profit from these two. So while I did risk a decent amount of money there, I've already taken my initial investment from it. And right now, in my account, if all of this decided to go south on me and I lost everything that I had there, I would still be up on my entire account by $1,200, because I currently have $1,700 free. And I started with $500. So I was able to grow this account from $500 to $4,600. And everything else is sitting in open positions. I could sell all of it and have $4,600, or I could keep it in there and see, ADA make some bigger moves. Like if it goes to, let's add a profit target. If it jumps to a level of $2, I'm up 4,900 on that play alone. And this is only, I believe, a 3x leverage on that. If it gets up to $5, like people think, that's $17,000 on that one play. Now, that's getting aggressive and getting greedy in a way. And most likely, as it gets to a level of maybe a $2 level, because currently it's at about $1 level. As it gets to a $2, $2.50 level, I most likely will take my initial investment out, which will be a 164% change. I'll take my $1,000 or maybe $2,000 out and leave the rest that's in there. And, or maybe I'll just take 50%, which will be $3,471 worth of profit plus half of my initial investment. So total, it'll be about $4,000 that's there, which would be about $3,000 worth of profit. So I have my plan set, but I also want to establish more, right? Whether it's with auction or compound or another play, another unknown play that's there. I want to establish more aggressive plays, and we'll see, right? I might put through another investment soon. It might be more of a long-term, or it might be a short-term investment. We'll have to see. Would it be possible to get a validation of Swell, please? Welcome, bro. Well, thank you. Validation of Swell. Let's see what Swell is. I don't know what Swell is, but we'll check it out. Swell Network. And currently sitting at a 761 by market cap, looking at $28 million worth of volume. It does bother me a little bit, maybe looking at the max supply versus the total supply that's there, but it really all depends on if it's been heavily diluted in the past, how long it's been around, if it hasn't had that dilution yet, or if it's something that happens over time. But it's sitting at a $29 million market cap, which means even though it would get to a $10 billion coin supply, that still wouldn't have like a crazy major effect on what the max market cap can be. Like if this was sitting at a $500 million market cap, then I would be worried, because if you would invest right now, it would mean that you have a lot of room below it as well as a lot of room above it. But Swell Network, 761 by market cap, a good amount of volume, 95% volume to market cap ratio, which is great. Just watch out for that. If we look at the last day, it's up by 5%. The last 7 days, up by 9%. The last month, it's down by 12%. And the last year, it's down by 99.97%. While it was at a 6-cent price in 2024, at the end of 2024, it has consistently dropped down. We haven't seen the price really make any type of major movements up in the last year. If we look at all history, which that's all the history that we have, it has no positivity really. So it looks like, right, I'm trying to get a sense of the price ranges. So if this is around the same price, March 27th, you're looking at a 1.5 cent price, and then 1.5 cent, 1.6 cent price for July 22nd, right? March 27th. Okay, so it's around, they didn't really add a ton of the supply. I was going to say that the price would consistently drop because of dilution, but it doesn't look like it's dilution. It just looks like it's something that's fading off into the background from a higher market cap of an $80 million market cap down to a $29 million market cap. But again, you're seeing a decent amount of volume. So what's the reasoning behind that? Is it because it's available on Coinbase at the moment? That could be something that picks it up pretty high. and honestly does give me a little bit more of like this has promise because Coinbase has picked it up. Kraken also has it available. It's available in 42 other platforms. So that's something that I would look into and say, yeah, I mean, this has potential. Obviously, you want to know what it does and why people are deciding to invest into it, but that's based on your research and what you see the value is. But yeah, I see it as a play that has a decent amount of potential to not only get back to the all-time high, which was only, in maybe 80 or 100 billion, $1 million market cap. You have a lot more promise where it is at a $29 million market cap. It's just, again, keep an eye on that supply and how they're reintroducing that supply. If they're going to just throw all of it out there at one time, or if you're going to see it happen over time, which I don't know the detail of. Do you believe more in trading cycles rather than trading every day? So I kind of believe in both. Um, so I think there's cycles, and you have to trade within those cycles frequently to understand them. Because if you just trade for what the ultimate outcome of that cycle will be, um, there's a large potential chance that you will lose because there's it's very difficult. It's like you trying to invest in at the bottom. You don't know what that cycle is going to be from the beginning of that cycle, right? If you're talking about just crypto cycles in general, you kind of know that we're going to see, a bear market, a bull market, an altcoin season, a Bitcoin season. You know what we're going to see typically. Now things will change as more people invest, as other things happen, but those are those cycles. When we talk about trading cycles in, let's say you have higher highs, higher lows within this cycle, you have lower highs, lower lows, you have certain patterns, you have certain bullish tendencies within those cycles. You're not going to know what's going to transpire from that based on the beginning of that cycle. Does that make sense? You can see it and go, oh, this is what happened within this cycle, right? This sector, this area. But how do you know what's going to happen, you know, right away, right? How do you know what's going to happen right outside that cycle into the new cycle, right? That's where it's difficult. So I think you need to trade frequently in order to understand where we are and understand what you need to do within it. Because I trade as we look at maybe let's say a 3 month time frame. I probably made maybe 20 to 40, maybe 50 trades during that time frame, and some of them are maybe short term where I have a few trades a day, right? And others might be just like one trade a day for an entire week, and then the next week I have maybe two trades or something. But the point is that I'm making trades more frequently, sticking to what my strategy is, being very disciplined to that strategy, and that's what's going to give me the ability to understand how I can gain within that cycle, that time frame. Hopefully that makes sense. So you have to kind of believe in both. Um, and sometimes trading every day can establish a longer term investment for a longer cycle, right? Um, so for me, while I, invested in the sum, I took $500, took $20 here, $100 there, whatever, invested into this at a 2x leverage, right? That established some gains that I can take from that 2x leverage to throw into a 10x leverage. That 10x leverage made me a lot of money to now I can take that initial investment plus profit and reinvest it into maybe another 2x or 3x leverage. And it really all depends where you are and where you've started your investment journey. Because you could start at the top, and if you're starting at the top, now you're seeing some negativity, which means maybe you short at those time frames. Gain some money from it, see the bounce back, a bounce off of an indicator, and it picks up from there. It really all depends. The cycles can be different for many people, depending on when you start investing. Good question, though. Very, very good question. But, um, I mean, why such? a headline. I came only to comment that stupid headline. Um, how much money you lost? Tell us in general. I haven't lost how much money I've lost overall. I mean, I've gained a lot. So I'm currently unrealized gains, massive. Like I haven't lost anything unrealized. Now realized losses, I've had realized losses, but ultimately, even while you factor everything together, I'm still at a huge net positive for realized gains. So while I have unrealized losses, and some actually, I have unrealized losses that I don't have many realized losses on, right? Because when I buy something, I buy it because I believe in it for um, those price ranges, those time frames, the different things to happen utility wise. I believe in all of those things. So, like for instance, Grok. I invested $7,000 into that. I'm currently at $1,900 for that. That's an unrealized loss, but those unrealized losses are all made up by things like Jasmycoin or GME or VSG or XRP. So there's a ton of positions that I've made tens of thousands of dollars from, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars from, that have made up for those single digit thousand losses, and that's unrealized. Realized, again, I haven't realized any type of major loss at all. Um, I literally can't think about it. I haven't realized any of them. Even some of the positions that you would think, Elmo, I still own it, right? Terraluna Classic, I haven't lost anything. I invested at the bottom of that, so it's always been a net positive. But many positions that I've talked about that are at lows that still have the potential to grow a little bit more. So I haven't lost anything. I'm fortunate enough to say I haven't realized any major losses. And then even if I look at unrealized, like I sold everything today, I would be at a major positive, uh, gain. Do you have any Inu? If not, do you want to get some? I don't know what you're saying there, but I don't even know where that position is honestly today. But I heard it was, from the last time I looked at it, it was at a large market cap. Thanks for the wait, yeah, no problem. It's a mean 800% ROI. So yeah, I mean, I try to make moves and invest, based on what I see works for me, and I think you guys can do the same. You can invest and make these moves based on what you believe is will work for you, but learn from it. Everything that you do, whether it's a loss, whether you have to take a loss, or um, whether you have a larger gain, because you can learn from all of these things. There are times where people gain a ton and then all of a sudden they don't, right? Where you invest, say, in a position that's at a 10x leverage and it drops down, or sorry, it increases up to a point where you're up 1,000%. You make so much money out of it. Maybe you invested $100, it's now at $1,000. Um, but then it all comes crashing down. And now instead of you being at a net positive, you're at a negative. And you see it continue to drop. And you have the potential chance of losing everything that you invested. I think when you find a strategy that tells you I should take my initial investment or take some profit, you start to, you know, validate or I guess confirm all of those gains and realize a lot of them. And then now you can reinvest and find the best strategy that works for your portfolio. You know, um, I've been able to find a good strategy that gives me higher and higher balances. I want to grow this to $100,000, and if I can, that would be fantastic. If I can't, then it's something that I learn from. But I've been able to grow $500 to about $4,600 right now, which it's almost a 10x on what I decided to invest in the beginning. That's amazing. I've been talking for a long time. It's been an hour and 16 minutes. I appreciate you guys for being here. Again, if you guys are wondering where I was for the last week and why I haven't made a video or even made any type of post or comment or anything, especially as the market was moving, CRO was making moves, Ethereum was making huge moves. I've been on vacation for the last week and I decided that I'm just gonna not do. I brought everything with me. I brought my I didn't bring everything, right? I didn't bring my computer, and I literally just brought my tripod and a camera, which I was gonna record and just make videos for if I had any time. However, we didn't have any time, right? I was out of the hotel, um, the resort, for literally the entire day, from morning until night. We had a different what do they call them? It's not like fast passes. What do they call it? Ah, lightning lanes. We had different lightning lanes set. What I was pissed about is the fact that we were in California, we were at Disneyland, and we couldn't ride arguably the best roller coaster or ride that's there. And that was the Incredicoaster, from what I heard. It was down for refurbishing literally every single day. And then is up now, which is the 15th. Well, it's not up now, but it's going to be up today, and it's going to be open the day after we get back, right? Or the day we get back. Well, I guess no, the day after we get back, because last night was the day we got back. But today it's supposedly open, and I'm pissed about that because they say it's the best roller coaster that's there, and we can't go. Oh, what's your favorite? Well, my favorite is Rise of the Resistance, Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously those. But then I want to try out the Incredicoaster. I'm a little pissed about that. Nothing's open right now. I don't think they opened yet. Yeah, but it's gonna be open. I'm sure it's gonna be packed either way. I'm just so upset because now we're not gonna go back to Disneyland for probably another 3 years at this point. We'll go to Disney World, um, not next year, but the year after that. But Disneyland, we want to do 3 years apart. They're kind of the same thing, honestly. They have all most of the same stuff, except Avengers Campus over on in Disneyland in California Adventure is pretty great. I mean, would you look to buy? So I wouldn't look. I'm not looking to buy any cryptocurrency right now. If I didn't have any, I would probably look into it just to see because it is an altcoin. So I would always look into some altcoins in order to make some moves. But I'm not looking to buy any cryptocurrency now. Like there's a few that kind of like catch my eye as something that could be newer, that could make moves, and that's why I decided to make some moves into those recently. And by recently, I mean in the last like 2 months. I'm not looking to buy any cryptocurrency as of right now. Um, Lunac is not participating in 2025 bull run. Why? It hasn't even. They are participating in it, in the bull run. Let's call it that. Um, but we haven't seen the major participation of all altcoins yet, which we should. Um, and Terraluna Classic will see that growth. And when we do, it's going to be massive because once we see, let's say, a 50% rise, which is not crazy, that's a $600 million market cap. When we see a 50% rise, you'll start seeing FOMO. And you'll see it get to a 60, 70%, 100%, 200, 300, 400. We'll start seeing that rise very, very quickly because Terraluna Classic is very popular. And the more that you see that grow, the more that people want to invest into it because they understand of what it was and what it will be. Because this all happened, you saw some growth in the beginning of kind of that bull market for Bitcoin at the end of, what was it, 2022? And seeing that transition, seeing that rise, it showed what Terraluna Classic can do, but not to the fullest extent. It just showed a little glimpse of what that could be. I'm hype about this. And also, I didn't. I had to look it up. I'm pretty sure I knew that it took batteries, but I had to look it up. Get myself a lightsaber here. Yeah, we're ready for and it's green because it's gonna be a green day. It's honestly a red day. Ha 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 ha. I want to. Harper said she wants to make one, but we'll probably do that in Disney World next time we go. But she said she wanted to do it. It was fun to be able to make this. It's crazy how heavy it is. Because for her, this is gonna be like, because she lifts some weights sometimes, but for her, it's gonna be insanely heavy. I just bought the swinging sticks, so it's chill to have in the background. Did you? Yeah, I like these things. I mean, it just continues to move. It's something that you can stare at and it calms you down. Um, but yeah, did you buy the one that I have, the one in the Amazon list, or did you buy the the actual version of it that doesn't take batteries, it just goes off of motion? I want that one, but I haven't mustered up the courage to go and buy it. Got the inspiration from you, dude. Well, thank you for saying that. But yeah, it's a great thing to have, whether you have an office or you just have it in your living room. It's something that will honestly be a conversation starter. And oh, it looks like Bitcoin is up. We might be. Oh, you bought the original. Nice, nice. I'll have to look into that because what are you doing down there? Can you not do that, Spencer? Is that Spencer? Spencer, come here. Come here, come here, mustache man. This is my mustache man. He's got a mustache, and he's over here. Don't. I did nothing to you. You're not going on the table. Fine. I just got home, and you wanna run away from me. That's fine. Ow! I think he scratched my stomach. Is there any like crazy news? Let's check. Let me check crypto news. Biggest crypto news. Let's see what's happening in the world of crypto right now. Um, and I always like to use AI for this. I feel like it gives you a lot of information. So, the biggest crypto news highlights for August 15th, 2025. Cryptocurrency market has experienced a period of heightened activity and some volatility today. August 15th, 2025. Here's a summary of the most significant news. Regulatory landscape. U.S. stablecoin regulation. The recently enacted Genius Act is shaping the stablecoin landscape in the U.S. The SEC stance. SEC has taken a nuanced approach to crypto, approving in-kind creations and redemptions for crypto ETPs, while reiterating that tokenized securities remain subject to federal laws. SEC has also withdrawn its appeal against a decision vacating its dealer rules, which have the potential to stifle innovation in crypto and DeFi. Hong Kong regulations. Hong Kong regulators have implemented strict custody rules for cold wallets and increased security standards for crypto custodians. Solana ETF delays. The SEC has pushed back its decision on several Solana ETF applications until October. New York crypto tax proposal. New York lawmakers are considering a tax on crypto sales and transfers to fund school programs. Sounds like a good use to it, but I also want to understand the tax side of it and throw some numbers my way so we know. Market movement and events. Market downturn. The broader market, crypto experienced a downturn today following a hotter than expected U.S. PPI report. Bitcoin volatility, seeing over 124 to 120 to 119. Ethereum ETF inflows. BlackRock Ethereum ETF saw significant inflows, contributing to Ethereum's strong performance, pushing it near its all-time high. We did see that. XRP performance. XRP has seen a significant price increase over 400% since the U.S. election, reaching $3.12 as of today. It reached higher than that. It's like $3.60. Loser, says Joey Face. Joey Face. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Altcoin season potential. Uh, Coinbase analysts suggest that altcoin season could begin in September as Bitcoin's dominance weakens. Major conferences. Upcoming industry events include ETH or ETH Global New York and CoinFest Asia in August, with Bitcoin Asia scheduled for later in the month. Security incidents. BTC Turk hack. A hack of BTC Turk exchange resulted in $48 million in crypto being stolen from hot wallets. Crypto address poisoning scam. Scammers are exploiting address poisoning techniques, resulting in some victims losing large sums of money. What's address poisoning? Can you explain what address poisoning is? Address poisoning, also known as spoofing, is a deceptive tactic used by scammers in a cryptocurrency world to trick users into sending funds to the wrong address. Unlike traditional phishing, which relies on fake websites or emails to solicit sensitive information, address poisoning focuses on manipulating a user's transaction history. Interesting. Other developments: Google AI investment. Google is backing Bitcoin miner Terrawolf's a $1.8 billion AI project. OKB burn. Crypto exchange OKX permanently burned 279 million OKB tokens valued at $26 billion. When did they do that? That's that's fantastic. Um, Wait, so they only have 20 21 million. See, these are the type of things that can happen. This is all history, obviously, growing by about 5,900% from $1.50 in 2019 to $95, um, or even growing from $12 up to $95 is amazing. But again, I guess they burned the max supply that they have is 300 million. The total supply that they have right now is 21 million versus the circulating supply of 21 million. So not all of the supply is out there from the total that they have, but they decided to burn, I forget what it was. What was it? 279 million. So that only leaves 20 million. Hold up. So they burned 280 million tokens. And that's out of the 300 million that they had. 300 million, they burned 280 million tokens worth about $26 billion. What? And it was at a 40-cent price point, and now it's at a 96, or sorry, $40 price point, and now it's at a $96 price point. And now he's laughing at me on Discord. I don't think he should laugh at you. It's a position that's truly out there. It's just what when people ask those things at that point, if not, do you want to get some? Because it's like I feel like that's the way that I was going because Kakinu is basically like saying, you know what I mean. I don't know if you know what I mean, but some people do know what that means. Um, I feel like you did. There's no way that you said it that way and didn't know what that meant. But either way, I'm still surprised that OKB, it says that the max supply is 300 million still, but they burned. I gotta see what the deal is with that. Because if that's the case, there's a lot more growth left there. Um, and that means that I'm buying OKB right now. I burned 270 million. I don't know if I could buy it on any other exchange. A major development in cryptocurrency market has emerged as OKX, one of the largest global exchanges, executed a record-breaking token burn of 279 million OKB tokens, according to the report of a well-regarded blockchain tracking service. These tokens were permanently removed from circulation, being sent to an accessible address. These This event has sparked discussion among investors and analysts regarding its potential impact on OKB's token value and market dynamics. Uh, token burns are common mechanism in a blockchain ecosystem where tokens are irreversibly destroyed to reduce the total supply. This action is intended to increase scarcity, which can in turn drive up demand and potentially the price for remaining tokens. For OKX, this burn was a part of an ongoing strategy to manage OKB's tokenomics and process that includes regular burns, fund portion. Okay. Um, the scale of this burn among the largest OKB in history, large in OKB's history, largest in history, right? Signaling OKX's aggressive approach in controlling the token supply and reinforcing the commitment of OK. While one can predict the market behavior with certainty, the fundamental economic principle of supply and demand suggests that the reduction in the supply could lead to increase in value, providing the demands remain stable or grows. This burn is okay. So where can you buy? Okay, I'm way late. I guess it might have been literally this month because it goes from, let me go to the last month because it's gone from $117 down to 96, and I think markets that are available, not available for anywhere for me to buy. Yeah, it's not available on any other exchange that I can muster up the courage to purchase on. Yeah, I don't have any of these exchanges. I have Bitmart, but that's it. So if you guys have the ability to make that move, I don't think it's a bad move for the long term. For the short term, maybe let me check BTCC. I don't think I have the ability to purchase on BTCC. I do. Hold up. Now this would be a tricky situation because this would be a very, very tricky situation. Because right now, with the amount of growth that it's seen, you potentially could see a decent sized pullback back to those levels, meaning that if I would invest at a 10x leverage, I could lose everything that I put in there. However, if I invest at like maybe a 2x leverage from where that is, I could definitely see a decent size decrease. But then as I get down to this low level, if it does, I could then invest at a higher leverage with less of a fall, if that makes sense. So as it gets down to this point, like for it to go from 95 for me to lose at a 2x leverage, it would have to come all the way down to a I could do a 3x leverage. If I do a 3x leverage, it would be from 95 down to that's tough because it definitely can come back down to 40. But it also has a lot of long-term potential in it. So that's something that I should be willing. Maybe I could put 500 in one at a 3x leverage. Because I could do it all the way up to a 20x leverage. If I do 500, let's see, 500 at a 3x leverage. Because that's definitely a safer play. I really don't want to do a crazy heavy play. $500 at a 3x leverage, order size would be 5.3 that I gathered from it. If I decide, I did it at the contract value. That sucked. Let's do more. I didn't want to do it at the contract value. I wanted to do it at the margin value. So it's at a 3x leverage. And we'll add to that. So it'll be $578 at a 3x leverage that's sitting there. And we're going to go ahead and add in a stop loss, which would be 33.3%. It would trigger at $63.87, which could definitely happen. We could definitely see that. Now, I know that's at the high level here, so we could see a pullback to that point. And if we do, I'll go at a little bit more of a leverage there. That's why I only did 500, because I can add another 500 in at a 2x leverage or something, and then give me a little bit more room to play with and a little bit more growth there. Trying to think how I could do that. I just have to get notifications on that, because I don't want to see that pull back too fast, which it definitely can. So that's something that's going to sit there, but that's good news, right? These type of things can potentially give you so much more growth. And as I see that grow up to even higher figures, where it can get to a 20, let's say a $20 billion market cap, is currently sitting at a $100 price point at a $2 billion, it's at a $2 billion market cap. So seeing it up to a $20 billion market cap, that's $900. So if you get to $900 or a $20 billion market cap, let's see, let's go back to this and add in that $900, that'll be $14,000 worth of a gain, which wouldn't be a crazy market cap. But again, I want to see it pull back so that I can have better entry points, but I want to be involved in this pullback, because it went from 144 all the way down to 95. So that's a massive pullback that we've seen so far. But if we can see it come back down maybe a little bit further to like the previous highs where my current stop loss is, that would be fantastic. Because then it would give me an even more solid entry point to be invested at. Does that make sense? So that's a play that I just made. I'm glad that BTCC had the ability to buy OKB. That's fantastic, because no other exchange that I have has the ability to do that. Now my hip is hurting. Maybe it was all the walking. Seen on Watcher Guru just in $5.9 billion worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum options expire today. Do you think it will be bearish or bullish? Depends where they expire. I mean, I haven't seen that news, but do I think that'll be bearish or bullish? I think it should be. Um, I think it should be bullish. If I had to guess. But that's good to get that bit of news. See, AI just helped me potentially make a decent amount of money just by throwing that out there. But I had no idea that they burned 279 million coins. I think this is something that you can hold for the long term. You can also see some major short-term growth. Obviously, we've already seen that from $46 up to 100 and what was it, 130 or 140 is what they had there. 144 is what the high point was. That's fantastic. I'm tired. Also, I saw my the stock market, my dividend portfolio looked pretty good. I haven't invested anything new in a while. It's not the right thing. Do I have my password list up? I don't think that's right, but we'll see. Check your Robinhood app. Where is Robinhood? Yes, it's me. Yeah, it seems that my long-term investments have been really, really good for the stock market as well, if anybody's interested in that. Over time, if I look at all time, for when I decided to make moves, it was the end of 2023. So October 2023 is when I had $63 invested into it. And we could see the growth and movement and everything. But over that time, I've had about 9.45%, meaning that if I was to, kind of average that out, it would be 4.75, give or take a few percentage points or partial percentage points. It should be 4.7% increase per year for the last 2 years, which is not the best thing ever, but it is better than what my mortgage percentage is. So that means that I am making money over my mortgage, which is great, but it's not a significant amount over, which is what I would have hoped for, right? I would hope for that 5 to 10%, not 4 to 10%. So hopefully that continues and we can make more money over time and give me a reason to not just pay off my mortgage, because I could just take all of this or some of it and just pay off my mortgage. I could do that. Then I won't have a mortgage payment. I would just have a tax payment. Now, again, it should provide me with gains, a ton of gains over time. Not only just with the growth here, but also with the dividends. Because if you don't know, I'm receiving about $500 in dividends per month if I averaged it out. So that's not bad. And no matter what, even on the monthly dividend payments, I'm receiving about $300 per month. I know when you average it out and you add in the quarterly months, it gives me about $500 to $600 per month. But it's when I look at it just by the monthly dividend payments, it's about $300 something, which is fantastic. How's your monthly dividends? Like I said, it looks pretty good. 100% live your content. Thank you for saying that. Let me go ahead and look at. I showed an update on my one of my last videos about my dividend portfolio, but dividends look good, right? Let's take a look at my dividend tracker. How much I got paid for July. So this is my dividend tracker. It may not be updated on the amount of each position and what the total amount is there, especially since movement and all that stuff and different investments. In July, I received $350 in dividend payments. That was just from a monthly output. Quarterly, I received 1,000. Can you not do that, man? Why would you decide to do that? What's up with you? Tear your mustache off. Um, no. So I received 1,200 in a quarterly payment, but then every month I'm pretty much receiving, like any major month or regular month, I'm receiving $300 plus, $350 in dividend payments. Averaging out for the last year, I'm receiving $606 per month in dividends. If we add in this and this to the averages, which is fantastic. But there's still a long way to go to be able to receive $1,000 per month in dividend payments. I would love to be able to take, let's say, some of those gains and all of that stuff, and then eventually, I don't know. I really want my mortgage to be gone, so I don't have to worry about that, and I only have to worry about the taxes. But I also like the fact that the company that's doing that is kind of taking care of the not taking care of the tax portion, but at least building the escrow, right? I've always struggled in that way of holding that escrow because I'd like to all of my money I like to reinvest and make sure it's making money for me. So if that ends up happening and now this money is sitting aside, it bothers me that it's sitting aside over here and it's not doing anything, right? Um, but obviously I would need to do that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just pay off my mortgage at some point and just not have to worry about that. I don't know. So yeah, the dividends are looking great. I can't complain on that, and I want to see my goal for honestly the end of this year was $250,000. I don't know if that'll happen. To have that amount, I would have to invest a lot of money, um, which I don't think I'm ready for. We'll see. It all depends how high XRP goes, right? If it gets to a level of $5, and then I'm taking um, my initial investment plus profit from it and then leaving the rest that's in there. But if it doesn't get to $5 by the end of this year, which I expect it to, but if it doesn't, then this $250,000 goal won't be met. I'm working on getting my monthly dividends, but my goal $800 monthly. Currently, I'm at $130 a month. Well, that's great. The the best part about this is like the journey to get there, right? Seeing what you're investing into, seeing what's working, what's not, what's making more than what's projected. Um, it's really the journey. And I look back at it, right? I'm looking back at 2024 from where I started in technically at the end of 2023 and going all the way through December of 2024, and you look at $215 worth of dividends, $37.59 worth of dividends, $18, $24, 121, and seeing that movement, seeing that growth, it just feels great, and seeing December at such a high rate, and then finally seeing a month, right, when we go to 2025, finally seeing a month to where I'm over $1,000 in a single month. And yes, it is a quarterly month, but seeing that I'm over $1,000 feels fantastic. Um, and it's just getting better and better as we move along. The regular months, right, to go from, let's say, the low regular months of 120, 147, 241, 260, right? And then see it jump up to, about 300, back down to 250, but then up to 349, 362, 353. And hopefully we can see more and more as that goes along. So it's amazing, right? And the more that I invest, the more that I see in that dividend growth. But then also, I still see that in the regular growth as well. All time up $15,394 or 9.4%. And since I'm consistently investing, the issue is that some of these time frames where I was purchasing things at these high points. And I'm purchasing everywhere. So I'm purchasing at these high points. I'm purchasing at these low points. I'm purchasing at this middle ground. I'm purchasing at the high point again. That's just how it goes. I'm going to buy at the levels that we're at now, meaning that the more money that I invest, there's still a potential chance that I can lose that money. If it was all invested in the beginning, let's say it was all invested here, um, then we would see that major growth no matter what, right? We would see that pick up. Yes, eventually we would see it down to a negative, but there would be so much more positivity. We would see 15%, 20% if that was all invested in at one point, at one low point. But the issue that you're dealing with is that you want to invest over time. You want to consistently invest, and eventually you will see that growth in the money that you had previously, but you won't see that same level of growth in the money that you're investing into now. Does that make sense? And as you go along, let's say I get to a point where instead of 700 or 170,000, it's now at 1.7 million or something. Like that's where whatever I invest during that time, right? If I invest $2,000, that's literally pennies compared to what I already have in there for the long term. But right now, if I invest $10,000, that's a large chunk of what was already in there. If I invest $20,000, it's a large chunk of what's already in there. So for the time being, as you're investing a lot or a decent amount, you're not going to see that consistent level of growth that you wanted to see, right? The 15% over 2 years, 7%, 7.5%, or the 10% level, right? 20% over 2 years. I should have seen that, but I couldn't as I was reinvesting at higher points. Congratulations. Congrats on your dripping. Sorry, I'm not sure if you answered this. So all I said was, yeah, I think it would be bullish. I don't really have a crazy take on it, because I haven't really seen the major effects of, um, contracts expiring and what that really means for the crypto side of things. I haven't really seen the reactions and where that goes. So I would assume it would be bullish, but it I since I don't have much experience with it, I can't really say. Snowballing is crazy. It is. It's very, very true. It's very crazy. So yeah, we were looking at OKB because of the news with the fact that they burned off 279 million tokens. So that's why I have an OKB investment over here. This again is, I think, a decent investment. However, we could still see a decent size pullback. It got all the way up to 144, 145, something like that, and came all the way back down to about 92, which I think is great because I caught it at a little bit of a low point, but it honestly might not be the lowest point. I have a stop loss at $64 or $63.88. However, as it does get down to those low areas, I will, my strategy here is something a little bit different. I was looking to invest 1,000. I invested 500. I will invest another 500 as we see lower price points there so that I can, have a lower um, liquidation point and also get more skin in the game, if that makes sense. Guys, if you could, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you guys want to get started trading, if you wanted to trade OKB, and you don't have the platforms available to do so because it's not available on Coinbase or Kraken or Crypto.com or any of those, feel free to check out BTCC. You can leverage trade OKB and get yourself a decent amount of profit as you see it grow because of all of the burns or the big burn that we've seen recently. If you specifically use my link, you'll get a 10% deposit bonus, extra bonuses up to $10,055 and 40% lower trading fees. And in some positions, you could trade all the way up to a 500x leverage. I don't recommend that, but you can do it if you wanted to. And I hope all is good with you. Just wondering if you got any updates. Sorry. Just wondering if you got any updates and thoughts on where XRP's price is at right now and where it might be heading soon. So I don't have any updates per se on what's going to happen with XRP. I've given out pretty much everything that I think we're going to see, but it's more on a little bit of a long-term basis, right? I'm not looking at what's happening today or this week or this month. But what I believe we're going to see, before the end of this year, we should see a $5 to $10 swing. Obviously, to see that jump up to a level of $10 potentially, see that up to a level of maybe $15 potentially, and then in 2026, hopefully we see more of that altcoin season and more of the XRP ETFs, the all-encompassing ETFs, the blue chip crypto ETF. That really shows value in crypto overall, and XRP being a major point of that, or a major part of that. I don't necessarily have any newer updates, but I still see a lot of growth for this year. I'm looking to my exit plan as we see it get closer and closer to those levels, and being able to take profit from that. I can't wait for that. The profit side of it. I also can't wait for the utility side of it. But whenever that comes is when it comes. Guys, we have 84 people here. If you could hit the like button, I would appreciate it quite a bit. I'm glad to be back on live stream and just, chatting with you guys about certain things. Certain stuff, what's going on in the day and whatnot. But I think this has to be it for the time being. I was gonna say I wanted to continue, but I have to take Harper to an appointment. So actually, I don't know if Eric is doing it or if I'm doing it. You're watching the summit meeting? What's going on there? No, but I was looking at yep. Well, what's happening there, or did that already happen? I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, I don't know if I have the time to do it. Looks like I am. I am taking her. All right, guys. It looks like I am. So I have to get off here. But make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. I have to do longer live streams from now on. I want to be able to go to, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then Putin and Trump in Alaska. I did see something about that. Hopefully that has a positive effect on the markets and crypto. But yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Make sure you check out my link for BTCC down below. I appreciate anybody that was with me from the moment we hit the record button or the live button, which was about 5:30. I appreciate you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch me, to listen to me, to get any type of inspiration from me, because not only do you get inspiration from me, I get inspiration from you, and it helps me find plays that I think could definitely work in the end and make me a decent amount of money, make you guys a decent amount of money. That's what it's all about, right? It's finding ways to better your lives and making you better overall. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out my link for BTCC and Twitter and Patreon. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya. Actually, one more time. We're gonna throw this on. before we get out of here. Just because. Just because we're, oh, I just hit the mic. That's not good. Just because. Hey, cat, don't make me slice you. Where you at? Where'd you go? Gotcha. All right, guys.